I'm Evelyn, and I'm a geoholic.
All right, day one, GeoWeek 2026.
We're here. Let's do it.
Let's get on with this. Man, oh man, energy in the hall, it gets better every year. Agreed?
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%.
This is our first interview of what is going to be an amazing 3 days.
Yeah.
It's a familiar face. It's
It
Andres. Andres, if you would, real quick, just give us your name, who you're with, and what you do.
Hey, thanks for inviting me into the middle of the action here. This is awesome. My name's Andres Abeyta. I'm in San Diego with an organization called BootcampGIS. So I care about helping our industry learn how to prepare the next geospatial workforce, which is even a roundtable talk by that topic that I'm running today.
You have a presentation today.
Yeah, presenting.
Nice.
And so it's invited a lot of panelists from different backgrounds. So we want students, we want academicians, and we want people who run companies to say, hey, this is what we need to be for skills to get hired in our companies.
Yep.
And that has to evolve how we prepare students to come in and be ready to hit the ground and work for all these wonderful companies that are sitting in the hall with us today.
So before we let you talk in more detail about BootcampGIS, talk about GIS as an industry. Like, what is happening right now in the industry?
So I'll speak from the career preparation and education side of things. So first of all, GIS as a industry is more than tripling in size in this decade. So by 2030, it's going to be over a $200 billion industry. And so I keep saying we can't just let people fall into this industry by accident. If all of us were asked the question, how did you get into GIS? Did some counselor advise you to how to get into a meaningful career? Nobody would raise their hand. It would be like 99% accident. Like I couldn't pass calculus, so I got dropped out of engineering and I found geography as a major.
Yep.
Heard that one before.
Yeah. So we can't be letting people find us by accident because we need very specific skills, especially with the evolution of machine learning and geo AI and all of these amazing streaming services for data that we can, use much more rapidly. So we need to prepare that audience. And honestly, colleges are having a harder time doing that because they're much slower, much larger, and they can't react as quickly as we need. Yeah.
So when you say, how do you overcome that challenge? Like you said, we've got to get to the point where people aren't falling into GIS as a career. They're actually being told about it at some point. How do you fix that?
Two things. So we need to educate people at a younger age. So for instance, I just took the initiative to start talking to school districts in my city in San Diego. And my kids were offered, I get these flyers, hey, there's a STEM robotics class after school or a Spanish class or a coding class. I was like, wow. So you got a lot of science-based education for kinders through 5th grade. Why aren't we teaching GIS? So I talked to 5 school districts and I ended up creating a program called Kids Map the Earth that showed the beginnings of GIS mapping, even flying their schoolyard with a drone. And we created this class that the kids would sign up for and learn that there's this cool, meaningful industry that you can actually get a job in, that their university offers a degree in, that the biggest GIS conference in the world, the UC, Esri UC, happens in your town. So, I mean, there's a lot of puzzle pieces that really fit right, and so they reacted to that and let us teach. So that's aspect number one. How do we get a younger audience? The second one is how do we give them education that's more on point to what these companies in the hall need? And so we've been developing in BootcampGIS classes that are industry driven. So we get subject matter experts like you guys. Hey, what's a project that you just did that your clients paid you to do? I think that could be a good piece of education that thousands would want to learn. So we co-develop a class. We do it in 4 to 8 weeks. We put it up online, and then we allow the world to consume it.
And where do you get these opportunities? Like to have these people come in and tell their real world stories to benefit your students. How does somebody get considered to be able to do that?
Well, we're open to all ideas, and so the most proactive thing that I do is I walk this hall. I'll shake hands with people in every booth and say, "Hey, what do you do, Kent?" And you tell me, "Oh, I do this, that, and the other. My latest client was a utility, and we collected data for them, and we gave them this dashboard." I said, "You know what? That's not taught at my university or any other university I've seen, if we did a short course on that and we put up online and we taught a lot of other people and they put that on their resume, guess what the interviewer is going to ask them about? Not their introduction to cartography class. They're going to ask them about that project, and if they can be articulate about it, then that's a good thing for them. So the key thing is just talking to people and hearing about good projects. And so on our website, you can even send us an email.
Nice.
There's an instructor wannabe page, and you just send us a project idea with a paragraph abstract, and I'll say right away, I think a lot of people need that. Or if it's a real fundamentals class, intro to GIS, intro to GPS, I'm probably not that interested in it.
Yeah, well, and it's a win-win. It's a win-win, obviously for your group and your audience, and then it's a win for the person doing the presentation as well. Yeah. And if you guys look back in your careers, most of the stuff that you really had to do in your jobs, right, is on the job experience. Oh yeah.
You just got interested in it from maybe college, but then your OJT got you to be skilled and valuable to your companies. And that's what we're trying to help students get right away as some of this OJT, just like looking over your shoulder, Kent, and saying, what do you do? Except for you're going to capture that via video like they're all used to doing anyway through Coursera and Udemy and YouTube, right?
Yeah. I mean, especially being a land surveyor. You know a lot about the land surveying profession as well. And, everybody you talk to falls into being a land surveyor. There's nobody at like the high school level, like the counselors guiding people to be surveyors, but for GIS, at least like most universities and colleges have some sort of GIS program. So you guys definitely have an advantage there. It's just getting folks into those programs, right? Yeah,
that's right. And there's about 100 universities that have some sort of GIS program, but again, it's the fundamentals.
How's the enrollment going? Is it still on an upward trajectory for all those GIS programs, or are you kind of tabled off?
Okay, so there's some nuances to that. We're kind of flatlined right now, and it's partly because the financial climate is rough right now. So people are having a hard time saying, hey, I just paid $150,000 for my degree. I need to pay some more for some sort of micro-credential. So they're caught between, can I spend some more? Or they're also caught between, man, I put out 300 applications on Indeed and nobody's calling me for an interview. So if you just look at the subreddits like I have on job hunting, there is so much hopelessness. And,
really?
I mean, on the edge of suicide type of thing that I can't believe what I'm reading. And so there's that. But there's that need. And so we're here part of, we got jumped on the World Geospatial Industry Council organization. So we're on the subcommittee for industry and academia to expose to more people worldwide, not just the United States. Hey, you guys are all feeling this. We have an educational product that could be better for your students, and we have a way for companies like yours, Sean and Ken, to put in and develop classes that serve your own need. Right? They're going to learn what you need by these classes.
Yeah. What do you think the employers are saying from what the students are getting right out of college? Without any kind of how well prepared are they coming out of college with a GIS degree right now?
I just left a 1-hour meeting with a company that answered that same question. They said, we have a couple of hires that we need for the BIA, the Bureau of Indian Affairs, and resumes I'm getting from out of college, and there's just GIS tech roles, but they're so basic, and then when they interview people, they're not articulate about how to do a project. They can say, hey, I'm a good student. I got a 3.8 grade point average, and Professor X, YZ is going to give me a reference. What do you got? And that's not close enough to the job at hand. So in our classes, we actually do career services, and we just work with the students to say, hey, you got to be able to describe this project that you just learned in our class articulately and describe it to the recruiter that doesn't do any GIS, the hiring manager that doesn't know the tech that you just learned, probably, and maybe a technical person, and say maturely, here's why this mapping project existed, the problem. Here was the task at hand that I had to do. Here's some problems I had to solve. Here's what software I used. And here's the outcome quantitatively,
Right.
how many thousands of miles did I do this mapping project on? And here's the amount of area that was assessed as wildfire risk area. And I put it on a platform, made it public to X number of people in the county to consume. So now they're metricizing, their project, just like developers do, right? Business developers. So they're really good about saying, I had a $500,000 marketing budget,
Right.
and I increased sales by 13% last year. That's why you should hire me.
Well, those are the good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you learn is you actually have to put some numbers behind it instead of just what do you call it? That foo-foo stuff where it's just
Fuzzy math.
yes, something like that.
Yeah. So, talk about BootcampGIS then. Like, who's the target audience for that? Like, who are you trying to reach with this?
The target audience, the sweet spot is people that are just out of college or probably within about 5-6 years out of college that aren't doing what they want to do. There's a statistic that I just uncovered, and it says 52% of the college graduates are underemployed. That means they don't have a job, or they had to take a job in Uber Eats or Starbucks or doing something that had nothing to do with their degree. So that's over half. So our role is to give them some hope and say, if you want to get back into a meaningful career, you got a bio degree or environmental studies degree or business degree, here's some tech skills that can help you get into a place that you thought is the reason why you went to college, and we'll help you get there.
So maybe I missed it. Do you help with job placement as well?
We have a 6-month enterprise GIS certificate program, and along with that is 6 months of career services. So we're teaching them how to do a makeover of their LinkedIn profile, all the SEO and types of features that they have to be using on LinkedIn in order to get themselves exposed to more people, prepare for the job resume, how to hunt for conferences and do the networking at places like this here at GeoWeek, and then what companies do hire, and here's a list of them, and then how to have a mature response in interviews that make them stand out versus the other answer I told you. So we're the best in the world at the career services part because college is really, it's absent there.
Yeah, absolutely. So is there a prerequisite for folks that want to consider getting involved with BootcampGIS? Do they have to have a college degree?
That's a great question. So there's not a prerequisite. We have some high school students that are doing it from an education standpoint. There's not a prerequisite that you already have to have an intro to GIS class under your belt or some degree because, I went to YouTube the other day and I looked for a video of a car mechanic who showed me how to disassemble the door panel of my Hyundai Sonata so I could change out the $15 broken window switch. I don't have any prerequisites as an auto mechanic, but I can watch somebody demonstrate that and then do it and feel really gratified with that. That's how our education is. Subject matter expert does the demo, it's recorded, you can follow along the steps, and then you can feel gratified that you completed, a major project.
Super cool. How do people find out more?
BootcampGIS.com. Check that out. There's a button there. Immediately you can see the course catalog. So you'll see stuff there that is going to be very interesting. And then secondly, there's another button, book a call. And we'll just talk to you for free and just give you some advice about the GIS career path. And you'll decide for yourself, hey, this is for me or not. So there's really no risk and it's a low investment.
So speaking of that, what would be that one advice you would give somebody that is interested in, just saw something and said, maybe I can give this a career, and they found your page? What's the best advice you can give them?
Yeah, good question. So don't lose hope. There's a lot of people in that role. And if you do nothing, then you're going to stay in that state. You have to do something for yourself. And a lower bar than getting a master's degree is go find some sort of boot camp education. It doesn't have to be ours. It could be in data science or AI or even in medical fields, surveying. There's things like that. Find something where you think that you've read and you find the research that there's a need, and then go and pursue that hardcore and network the hell out of everybody around you.
Nice. Love it.
Yep. Good stuff. Well, Andres, we really appreciate it. Anything else, Sean?
No, I'm good. Yeah.
Anything else, Andres? You want to get out there?
Your podcast is a beautiful thing. I'm honored to be a part of it. And there's probably going to be a line of people behind me wanting to be the next speaker. So you're doing a good thing. Good job, guys.
Well, thank you for the kind
Yeah, I
words. We
appreciate that.
it. Thanks for your time.
All right. Cheers.
Let's keep it rolling here.
Let's keep going.
Yes. 2 new friends.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to
New
these
friends of the
guys.
program, as a matter of fact.
New friends of the program.
Yep. So we thank them for the support of the show, of course.
I mean, we know Mitch for a while.
Yeah, we have. Yeah. But he's finally committed to us.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's go real quick with some self-introductions. Joel, why don't you go first?
G'day, guys. My name's Joel Gregory. I'm the co-founder and CEO of 12D Synergy.
All right, Mitch.
Yeah, I'm Mitch McPherson, and I'm the head of sales at 12D Synergy.
And you guys have been like traveling the world, the country, all over the place.
Yeah, I spend maybe 6 months of my life not at home, and most of that's abroad, so which isn't that exciting maybe if you're from Europe or North America, but when you're from Australia, that means 20 hours on a plane every time you leave your house. So,
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Takes a little getting used to, I'm sure. All right, Joel, so you got to tell us, how did you come up with this idea? Where did the whole thing originate from?
Yeah, so for us it started in 2011. We're over in the Christchurch. They had a major series of earthquakes, destroyed the city. And during that rebuild process, they were creating terabytes of geospatial information. And there was really no system out there that could look after that data. So that's really the genesis of the product. And our CTO, Richard, who I actually went to school with, he went away and built a prototype for that skirt rebuild. So 3 years later, we commercialized. And now we're pretty much the only product that looks after that engineering, survey, and documentation for a major project.
Yeah. So let's talk about data management for dummies. Dumb it down a little bit and tell us how it works.
Yeah, so essentially we're data agnostic, so you can throw any sort of survey information, design, drafting material. You put it in. It's a check-in, check-out system. Give you a full audit trail of all the information that's in your product. And when you check it out, you can use any authoring tool that you want. You can use any hardware. So whether you're a Leica or a Trimble shop, or if you're a Bentley or Autodesk, it doesn't really matter. You can work that seamlessly out of our software, essentially.
Gotcha. So, Mitch, this one's probably for you. Who are your target customers or clients?
Yeah, so we work with a lot of tier 1 infrastructure customers. Doing linear projects is probably our home base, our wheelhouse. And the design consultants, so we work with a lot of DNCs as well, design and construction contracts, design consultants in civil space, and then I guess we're branching out more to then kind of goes down that supply chain really, start to work with the subcontractors, the Geomatics and geospatial service providers that work into those projects. And then even, your local land surveyor who's doing boundary surveys. We're working with those guys as well.
So, but you originally said it's a project. Is it project based? Like, do you want the software for an entire project and everyone can collaborate on it, or do you want the company to be using it all the time?
It could be either or, really. So for a lot of major projects, you will have a server just for that project, and everyone can access the information. And a lot of the times it's for all the users with it, a contractor or consultant. So it really can be either. And I guess really the differentiator for us is, there's 1,001 systems that worry about Word, Excel. It's that geospatial information, that survey and design information that sort of puts us apart from most other products.
Interesting.
And is it like a subscription-based thing? I mean, what is the business model of it?
Yeah, user-based subscription.
Subscription.
So an annual fee.
Okay. So then your clients, your customers that are using it, like, how are they seeing return on investment? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, well, I guess for an average user out there, they'd be using... they probably a lot of their geospatial data at the moment is realistically sitting on a network drive. Yep. There's memory sticks being passed around. So a lot of the time they don't even know that they have this information. So there's a lot of rework being done. So the fact that you've got the right information at the right time, and everyone knows where that data lives. That's really sort of the benefits of when you've got 12D Synergy. Yep. Also, if there's something going wrong, you've got a full audit trail of everything that went wrong. So, if there's a dispute, you've got that full track. Where normally it would be, okay, where's that data even live? Oh, it's on a memory stick somewhere or in a hard drive in someone's drawer. Yeah. So that's sort of some of the benefits.
Sure.
So, but how do you know what's there? You said, you don't even know what you have. Like, so previously it'd be on different memory sticks. Now it's, you have the solution. Like if I was one of the users at the company, how would I know that Kent in the other side of the building, did this project and all that's available?
Yeah, so we're a cloud system, so it sits on Azure, and then we've got a spatial search tool, so you can just bring up and pick a geospatial location and say, show me everything within 5 miles of this location, and it'll show you all the other projects. And then if you double click on that, you can then open up the information, and it's like, oh, here's all our project data. Yeah. So that's a very quick way that you know what data sets. So the number of DOTs out there that are resurveying because they don't even know they have the data. So there's just simple savings right there.
So is that almost like the place you start first? You're starting a project. The first thing is, all right, well, let's see what we have, and then kind of go from there.
That's normally the first point of call for sure.
Yeah, interesting.
So how does a company who is completely unorganized with all their data migrate?
Are you speaking from experience?
Not saying anything. Migrate to a system like this. Like, are they going through their drawers and pulling out all these jump drives and like, oh, this looks usable. Maybe we should save this there. Like, it just seems like such a huge effort to migrate to the platform. Is it not that bad?
Yeah, it depends how far you want to go into it. There's really a few, and we've got a consulting team, a consulting arm to our business called Digital Ingenuity, who are really specialised in this. And they'll guide you through it. But it's really up to you how you want to go about it. You could say, personally, my favorite, if it was my business, I like the line in the sand method. I like to say, we can extract the metadata from all those projects that you've previously worked on, maybe in your ERP system or accounting system, and say, okay, all of these are historic, and we can have the metadata in Synergy to say, this is the location, and this is the name of the project and the project name, and it lives somewhere else. And from that date forward, it's always in Synergy. And by standard, we start from this date, we're going to put everything forward. And you might pick some really important projects that's going to last for an X amount of years and do that and say, okay, all right, so we're early stages here. We're going to work on this for 4 or 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is. It's worth our time migrating. Some businesses have migrated the whole thing across, and that's called the Big Bang. And the Big Bang, there's technology there for you to do the Big Bang. But it does require you to do some admin to make sure that you've got the back of house in order. So I guess my point is your tolerance for doing the work early or how well you've managed things in the past is probably going to define how you would do it. And I think nearly every business I've worked with has gone, you know what, let's do the line in the sand. Let's say from this date forward, we've done things maybe not as efficiently or as correctly as we could have in the past, and everyone's reverse date initial is probably as good as data management's going to get, and that's saved on a NAS drive somewhere, and where we can find it, I don't know. We're leaving that behind, and we're moving forward with a full QA system for our business. From this date forward, we'll do things right. That's what I would do, but there's certainly, we can definitely get in there, take a look at your systems and say, yeah, we can big bang approach this. We can start to migrate that data across, but there are some gotchas to that. It's not always the easiest thing to do, but if you've done your work, it can definitely work out.
So what do customers say when they draw the line in the sand? I mean, is that, looking back, that was the right way to go? Because I mean, how many times do you really need to... You just need to know it exists, right?
That's right.
From a project 5 years ago.
Exactly. And you'll have that information as it's going to exist somewhere anyway. So it's like, hey, it's just like it is now. So we're just saying historically, we're as good as we've always been. Moving forward, we're even better. And if you're chasing an ISO 9001 standard, like your QA policies, part of that is continuous improvement. This is a great point of continuous improvement. We drew a line in the sand and now we version control everything and it's all looking really good.
Yeah. And the reality is too, most of our customers use the adoption of our product as a way of streamlining and standardizing a lot of naming rules and processes and folder structures. So potentially the old stuff, it's not compatible with the new way that they want to work. So they use it as an opportunity to say, okay, from now on we're going to adopt these new standards. And this technology will then enable that.
Yeah. Is there a sweet spot, like from the size of a company, or is it for a 5-person firm up to a 50,000 person.
Well, you're talking to the sales guy. Like, they're
I'm teeing
everybody
this up.
is a customer.
Yeah, if you're listening to this right now and you're in college,
Yes, there it is.
you should buy it.
Oh, look, yeah, the reality is up until about 20 staff, normally it's 1 or 2 officers. You can look around the room. You can sort of get by without a system like this, but once you get to 20 users, multiple officers, then all of a sudden it becomes a lot harder to sort of control and streamline things. So that's normally when people start talking to us of, hey, we're starting to have problems, particularly if you're a business that's got growth ambitions as well. So you get sort of 20 staff, okay, things are okay at the moment, but when we get to 50, 100 staff, then the wheels will certainly fall off. So sort of 20 and up would be the starting point for a system like ours.
And I'm just curious, how many people get involved and contact you once the wheels have already fallen off, or is it mostly ones that they see what next year's plan is going to be and they realize they need to scale and involve something?
There's a combination of both. So sometimes people can see ahead, and other times we'll do a demonstration maybe a year or 2 later. We'll get a panic phone call, and you're like, oh, yeah, that data corruption you spoke about and all the data loss, it finally happened. You need to come in.
Did happen. Yes, skip the I told you so.
Exactly. So, but yeah, for about sort of 20 staff's the starting point, but sort of the sweet spot, be anywhere up to the hundreds of staff. But we do have customers also, because it is so scalable, into the thousands of staff, and we've got offices all around the world, and we've got lots of systems for those enterprise clients as well.
We do have one-man bands using it, but honestly, I wouldn't if I was a one-man band. Like it is overkill, but if you're, say, 10 to 15 crew sort of survey firm, and you're trying to centralize office production, and you want to improve the connectivity between field and office, you want to start producing drawings and deliverables at a centralized base, and you don't want the guys driving back from the field to the office, and you don't want hard drives sitting in people's backpacks as they get deployed to another job in another state on a flight, and you need that data. All those sorts of workflows that happens, that's when you'd say, okay, we can probably improve this. And the scalability of the product, probably down to the bottom end of business size, probably alludes to the price point as well. Like, it is a competitively priced system that can scale down.
What about security? I know that's something that's been popping around in our office a lot, and obviously not having hard drives in wherever. How do you manage to keep the data secure as well, and be in compliance with a lot of some of the new contract requirements?
Security is sort of the number one priority for our CTO, Richard. He's constantly rolling out from both a product and a company side as well. We're just finishing off a rollout, the ISO 27001 for our business. So, we've got the formal audit happening in a couple of months. And security, everything's encrypted, all those tools that you need from the product itself to make sure that, all your data is totally secure at all times.
That's got to be the scary part. Like, it's very unorganized to have jump drives in Kent's drawer, but he knows where it is and no one else does.
Yeah, that's right. And that's why it's important for us to have boots on the ground around everywhere, because people are trusting all their business data into our systems. So they want to make sure it's going to be around, and that our business is going to be around not just in 1 year, but in 5 and 10 years. So there's a lot of trust there that, hey, we are going to look after your data. It is safe, and we're going to be around here for the life of your project. So, it's really important to us.
So this seems like a really weird thing to develop. What was your background? Like, what problem were you having, or that you saw in the industry that you were wanting to solve?
So I guess, my business partner and I have been working in the geospatial industry, more on the authoring tool side. So we've sort of been selling that both in Australia. I also spent 6 years over in the UK, working through Europe, Middle East and Africa, sort of selling geospatial applications. So, when we came and saw the opportunity in Christchurch, we were able to sort of jump onto it. And my business partner too had worked on, these sorts of systems in the past as well in his role with Accenture. So we sort of knew the problem and thought we could do something with this, and then away we went. So
very cool.
So what's next?
Well,
what's cooking in the lab?
Well, I guess we're here at GeoWeek because we just opened an office in Philadelphia, so we've now got boots on the ground.
Oh, nice.
So we've got our big launch party tomorrow. So we've got a golf sim, and we've got a DJ. So we're going to have quite a lot of fun. So it's fantastic to be here. In the US. So we launched over in the UK a couple of years back, but we're finally here. In America, trying to bring our wares to Yeah, the USA. So it's very exciting for us.
And like, what's the best way for people to find out more?
Probably jump on our website or contact us directly to either Mitch or myself and give the details out. That'll be no problem.
Right on. Awesome.
12bsynergy.com.
Love it. Love it. You better know that by heart.
Yeah.
What else? You got anything else, Sean?
Oh, no, I'm good. You guys got anything else you want to get out there?
No, it's just it's lovely to be here in Colorado and have some warm weather. Like Joel sent me to the other side of the planet for a once-in-a-decade blizzard. For a guy from Australia, from rural Australia, like red dirt and sun. It was a new experience for me. So,
Meanwhile, I was sitting back, by the pool in 100-degree heat. Yeah. Mitch is there in 4-degree Philadelphia, poor guy. And I land, and it's been fantastic out here. I don't know what he's been complaining about. It's like 70 degrees outside, mate. It's fine.
I didn't even have shoes that I could walk anywhere in. I had to go by shoes. So it was a great experience, though. I actually really enjoyed it. Like I was there for the big one.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, you live to tell about it, Mitch.
That's right. Yeah,
that's right. Really well, again, thank you for the support of the show this year.
Yeah, we're really excited to have you guys on board. It's going to be a good year.
We're going to have a great year. Yep. Look forward to working with y'all.
Yeah, we're looking forward to having you out in Australia.
That's right.
Yes, we will be there. Brisbane.
It'll be here before we know it.
July. Yep.
Yeah.
We'll be promoting that at a later date.
Yes, we will.
Yes. Thanks, guys.
I appreciate everything. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Good morning, Sean.
Good morning.
What? It is early.
Not too bad. I mean, it's 8:30.
Yeah, you know what? It allows us to have that much more of the day to be productive.
That's exactly right.
And record interviews.
And
I'm excited about this one.
It's going to be a busy day today.
First one of day 2.
First one of day 2.
Day 2 is always a monster day.
It is.
We're going to be slammed today.
We are. I'm excited about it.
Yep. And then so much happening tonight. We're going to have some good stories tomorrow, I have a feeling.
I have the same feeling.
Let's get our guest in here. Real quick, Aaron, if you would, just to give us a quick self-introduction, name, who you're with, and what you do.
Yeah, sure. So Aaron Morris, I am the Global Director of AI for Woolpert.
Wow.
Global Director of AI.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How long have you been at Woolpert?
I think a little over 2 years.
2 years. Okay. And how big of a company is Woolpert?
We're rapidly growing, so whatever number I say is probably going to be
probably going
as
to change
soon as by the end of this. So we're somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 at this point.
Yeah, that's a good size, kind of the sweet spot.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But having the position you're in, talk about that a little bit. Like, what does that role entail?
Yeah, it's a super fun role. In fact, I just came into it earlier this year. My background is robotics and AI, so I've been doing it for a while. But in a company like Woolpert, it's really they have a lot of phenomenal talent, and they want to explore the use of AI for streamlining all kinds of workflows and data productions. And so I'm now helping coordinate it all.
Gotcha. So they've embraced it.
Oh yeah,
a lot of companies have taken a long time to do that, or may not. Who knows? But, yeah. So what do you think about these companies that are still on offensive, not embracing it? Like what risk does that put them at?
I mean, a little bit biased, but I obviously think it's a big risk.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't ignore it. It may not be, comfortable to think about the possibilities, but I mean, the realities are that it is changing the way we work.
Sure.
And it's giving competitive edge. So you need to be exploring it.
Yeah. Yeah. So where do you see AI playing the biggest role in our industry?
Yeah, so I've been giving all kinds of talks this week, and for me, the way that I like to think about it for our industry, we're in the business of producing data and data products, from sensors all the way to information, and those workflows have been heavily developed by humans, right? Which they go at a certain pace. And looking at those workflows and seeing how we can make them faster, make them better, make them cheaper, makes our industry and all the industries attached to us just more, better. So it's really about getting into these workflows, seeing where are the spots that could be really enhanced with AI, not replaced by, but enhanced by.
Yep.
And then building the sort of infrastructure around it to make it useful.
Yep. Good point. Did you have something?
No, go ahead.
So like when you come to a show like this, being in the position you're in, like what are you hoping to take away?
Well, one is just the beat of the industry.
Yeah,
I mean, again, I've always kind of been on the cutting edge of technology, And I'm always sensitive to like what is said, because there's a lot of practicality to these technologies, but that usually doesn't sell it. So they sound like, or they say these grandiose, like, very bold visions of how it's going to change everything and like da 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 da. Right. And it's really just to get people talking and excited.
Yeah.
So but it can also be misleading, right? Like they let people down the wrong path. So I'm always getting a beat of like, what are people saying and how are people really interpreting it and what's really happening across the board.
Do you think it's gotten saturated a little bit? Like, what's it seems like last year and the last few years, the buzzword was, AI and automation. Like, are we now in the kind of put up or you know what I'm getting at?
I know 100% what you're getting at. In fact, so here's the tell that some of that is happening, because usually, I've been in technology for a while.
Sure.
And so there's a scheme to it, in which, something comes on into the being, right? And like AI and automation, get everybody excited. Everybody's talking, but then it gets bored. Like, okay, we've heard this 100 times. So what do? Agentic AI. Oh, it's about agentic AI. So
they have to add a new word to it.
So let's like add another thing, and so you can kind of see this like creeping trend of just like amplifying until there's a point at which it, like something else like really manifests, or they're out of additional terms.
So what different are you doing at Woolpert as far as the global leader of AI? I mean, are you trying to actually force practical applications? Oh,
not just force, but I mean, really adopt. Like, when we came in, because we were part of a small tech startup, and building an AI platform. And so we came in with the idea, and we wanted to set it straight, that we're not going to be the easy button. Right, we're not going to.
But that's what AI is. It's the easy button.
Oh, it's not. We gotta stop that. You have to tailor it towards like what's most useful. So when we actually came into Woolpert, again, the initial was like, hey, we more than anything, we're LiDAR experts. We know how to take a point cloud and classify it. So we started to look at their workflows for that, and what we found was that. Of course, they already had tools that kind of did that. The step before, which is cleaning the data, actually was much more labor intensive. People didn't want to do it. And there was like, actually, why don't we start there? Like, and build a system that helps just like remove noise and do the sort of more tedious manual inspection. And then we'll get to the classification. And as it turns out, if you got cleaner data going in, the existing classification techniques work. So like, you just have to pick your poison. Like, you got to figure out the areas. And then, so that's what we've been doing, is really helping define those, points, and again, creating better experiences for the people who work for us, and better results for our customers.
Yeah. How about the implementation part of it? Is that challenging?
Yes. In fact, like, again, a big part of what I'm doing now is trying to figure out, because it's not just like, go use AI. And, like, okay. And then they'll come back to like, well, how much time have we saved? How much more, throughput? And well, you didn't ask me to record all that. You just said use AI. So, so now we're at the point where we want to understand impact. And so a lot of what, and I encourage any, companies like us or out there who are using these workflows, just don't go out and get a tool because it's, embedded in a product that you already use. Like, think about where you want to be, what's your kind of target. Like, is it efficiency? Yeah. Is it cost savings? Is it, better product output? Target that. And then when you implement it, make sure you can measure and track against it.
I mean, it sounds like the classic process improvement process.
That's 100%.
And that's like what this is. And I guess we just along the way thought, it's an easy button. I don't have to do process improvement anymore because the AI will do that for me.
Because like everybody like, hey, process improvement, guys.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay. But like easy button, okay, you get people excited.
Yeah, exactly. Like, wait, I still have to measure and collect data? Like, that doesn't sound
for now, at least.
Yeah, right. Yeah, for now.
So you mentioned like measurables. Like, give us an example of like a measurable when it comes to implementing AI, and how you can like I guess return on investment or something like that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's this is where again it gets nuanced and tricky. And again, I'm still in the process of working it out.
Yep.
It really you have to boil it down to whatever your kind of core workflow is and what things define it. So, for example, in the case of any sort of like tile-based geospatial processing, whether that's image-based or LiDAR-based, right? You're going to start to look at like, okay, how fast can we move through a tile of data, or how fast can we move through like a square mile of data, right? So if you can start to track that and it's another thing, benchmark. You want to always establish, okay, how much time did it take before, and now we want to look at how much time does it take after. But you want to benchmark that, and then you want to start kind of monitoring how it, the output.
Right.
And then another really good one in the context of data is quality. Like how much kind of issues, or does it pass versus does it fail, right? You want to see improvement, because you can get a system to it, like just ChatGPT, well, it'll answer whatever question you want, give you whatever result you want, but how good is it, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's so true. So like, we're just starting day 2 of GeoWeek. What's something maybe you've heard or a technology you've seen that maybe raised your eyebrow a little bit?
Oh, that's an interesting one. I don't know. Like again, I'm trying to get a beat on like all the AI buzz. My background, however, I come from robotics, and I've always been fascinated with, these mapping systems. And as I just look around the conference, I'm seeing more and more like, ROVs and UAVs and things that can go out and collect data. And those excite me and fascinate me, because the pace by which we can collect more data faster, it just enhances and does, what I do.
Right.
So I'm very interested to see, I'm going to be walking the floor today, just what more capabilities these systems are capable of doing.
So with all the AI talk and everything, like what are some of the skill sets people need to have in our industry today?
I think great question, and I think it's one that actually depends on where you are in your career, because there's a lot of fear mongering on AI, because that's always buzzy, but if you are later career, and you've been in the industry for a while, and you've been practicing, and you understand all the nuances, your role in this world is locked in, because you are the expert, and you can help when it comes to these AI tools. You will be looked at as a provider of the insights, right? Quality checking its output, looking at kind of what it does, actually querying it. If you're early stage, entry level, coming in, doing some of this stuff for the first time, unless it's the physical aspect, going out into the field or doing the data collection, if it's really that sort of base task that you used to just time consuming, you would give that to an intern or somebody. Those things are now being replaced. Yeah. So I usually give advice to kind of like early stage or incoming talent to like look how to use the tools, how to develop query, how prompt engineering, how all this stuff works. Right. Because when you get to the our stage, and we've been in it for a while, we're more likely to just keep doing what we're doing. So if you can balance those two things, I think it'll work out better.
Yeah. I mean, it's shifting the industry, no doubt about it.
Oh yeah, and I'm curious, especially with your background in robotics, like what are the big differences you've seen in kind of the robotics world? I know it's kind of same robotics, but in your previous career to now dealing in geospatial data and processing, and like what's the difference between before and now?
Yeah, well, I think not so much the difference, like what put me on the path here.
Sure.
Because I all the way rewind to being a grad student, I developed autonomous systems that would go and map underground mines. And when I got to the latter part of my journey as a student, I was started to write the grants, and I'm starting to write these things, and again looking to fund my robotic research, but my grants were in like build a map of this, like collect this data set in this like very hazardous environment. So I realized at that point, like a lot of the value of these things was actually in the data collection.
Oh yeah.
Simultaneously, I was kind of at ground zero when all the DARPA Grand Challenge, all the autonomous vehicle really took into action. And what you saw in that time period is a lot of people vectorizing maps to create like where the robot was going to drive. So they're like intimately connected. And so for where I see not so much the differences between, but I see kind of where they're coming together. I'm seeing how what we do from map generation and obstacle avoidance, like things that fly don't want to hit power lines and so forth. So these two worlds are actually becoming better together.
Sure.
And I think the more that we provide data access and ability to go and like train models and robotic perception and so forth, simulation with these data sets, we're bringing both of these worlds closer and for the better.
Yeah, and what I hear you saying there is, if it's outside of either data collection or building the map so the robot knows where it's going, like that's like a big chunk of the whole process,
That's
right?
a big chunk, yes.
What's left, like just a little bit that it actually does. But
it's funny because I was on a panel yesterday and somebody mentioned that we're teaching cars to drive like us, and that's absolutely not what is happening.
No.
Like basically everything's pre-encoded. Like they're pretty much on some sort of virtual rail, and now they're doing some dynamic don't hit that, avoid that, but there's a lot they're already pre-programmed to do because of the maps and the data that they have.
Right.
Yeah, they drive better than us.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I would hope so. It is just that, and the more data and the better data and the faster, then that's how they drive better. Not learn from a better driver.
That's right.
Just provide better data.
Yeah, that's funny. I only have one more question. Talk about security a little bit and the importance of that and how you manage that.
Yeah. So security when it comes to AI, again, that's another evolving topic, right? I mean, we have all our SOC 2 and like more traditional things of how we manage data. But with these systems, it has the possibility to leak. Like, and one of my core concerns, like what we do, and it's not even from an intellectual property perspective. Obviously, like you don't want to give your data to, proprietary data get to a platform that some competitor uses. But just like making sure that that like what you're doing, doesn't negatively affect your clients, doesn't really get out and put you in like, any unwanted risk. Right. So it's, I don't know, we're kind of figuring it out as we go.
Yeah. It's evolving.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, that's how the cycle usually goes, is the tech goes crazy and then we're like, oh wait, there might be some risk here.
Yes.
And then let's better catch up with that. All right.
What else you got, Sean? Anything?
No,
it's
great. Yeah. Appreciate you getting us off going.
Yeah.
Yep. Great to meet you, Aaron.
Yeah. Pleasure.
And if they're curious on what you're doing or what Woolpert's doing, how can they find out more?
Oh yeah. So Woolpert.com just launched a brand new website. And always reach out to me, aaron.morris@woolpert.com.
Nice.
I'll always love to have a conversation.
Awesome.
Cool.
Awesome. Thanks again.
Yeah. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks.
We're going off and running. Yeah. We're going to get really busy here.
I have a feeling. Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
Conference doors just open.
Energy in the rooms, amping up a little bit.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Got another great interview lined up here. So why don't we get into that?
Let's do that.
All right, Craig, real quick, self-introduction. Give us your name, who you're with, and what you do.
All right, I'm Craig Peddie. I'm with nfoldROI USA. I'm the CEO of the North American operation. And what we do is we focus on a few things. Historically, the company has provided conflation services for utilities. So we'll help align GIS with old cadasters and land bases. And in the last few years, we've broadened that scope to now include digital twins, LiDAR collection, and we will provide a full digital twin for a utility where we'll extract all their poles and wires and assets hanging on a pole. And from there, we're also offering that same sort of service for your municipalities and cities where we'll do a digital twin of the city, and we've actually deployed one in Peachtree Corners, Georgia. The platform itself is in wide use in Canada. Actually, the city of Toronto, the fourth largest city in North America, is using the digital twin technology, and so it's been very successful with cities that have deployed it.
Okay, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, we found somebody using digital twins.
Yeah, and probably making a little money off it.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it's not just a concept.
People are making money with digital twins. All right, that's good to know. So first of all, how did you get into this?
Sort of a roundabout. The longest part of my career was I worked for Motorola for many years. So if it had an antenna on it, I worked on it. A lot of two-way radios, the two-way pagers. I did for China actually in 2001. We did the first, what we like to call the precursor to the iPhone. It was a touchscreen phone with Chinese handwriting, and it was a pretty cool little phone.
Yeah.
But I got into GIS in the 2010s when I started working for a company called Comtech, and we decided it would make sense to compete head to head with Google and their map services. So we came up with an OSM based mapping platform, location services platform. But we found out the hard way that it's very difficult to compete against free.
Yeah, I can see that.
There lies the problem.
So we had some limited success in the OEM market. We did deploy with a couple of small OEMs, but that didn't really last very long. But from there I got into the LiDAR world when I started working for what then at the time was called Usher, that then morphed into Dynamic Map Platform USA, where we built the HD map for General Motors, and that involved collecting 800,000 miles of roadways in North America, and then South Korea, Europe, and the most joyous part of that program was dealing with the Middle East and the GCC countries, Saudi Arabia,
sure.
everywhere.
Yeah,
and the frustrations of dealing with those governments.
Right. So you mentioned a couple, I guess, clients. Let's talk about one of them in particular. Just kind of talk about the workflow and how your company works.
Okay. So we'll do Peachtree Corners first as an example.
Yeah.
So the digital twin offering for a city is we will go and we will collect LiDAR and panoramic imagery of all of the streets within that city. And then we'll process that and we'll upload it to our digital twin platform, the web viewer platform. And so that's made available to anybody in the city that wants an account. We provide unlimited user access to that platform so they can view the imagery, the LiDAR, they can overlay the two again, and play with it against each other. There's even a virtual drone they can turn on and they can fly through the LiDAR collected in the city. And in that viewing platform, they're able to take measurements, annotate any points in the point cloud, to make notes of assets or things like that. And all of that data is exportable in vector format to QGIS or ArcGIS or some GIS platform.
Right.
And there's plugins available that allow you to actually manipulate the data from within either of those platforms, and it's the same data is manipulated.
Yeah.
So that's the basic viewing manipulation platform. Then from that same LiDAR and imagery data, we've developed several machine learning and AI algorithms where we will go in and we will extract assets from that data. So we will go in and we'll extract every electrical pole, every electrical wire, all the attachments to a pole, like insulators and transformers and everything like that, the fire hydrants, manhole covers, the road edges, curbs, paint lines, all of any asset that a city needs to maintain or is concerned about. You extract all of that information as separate layers in the platform, and then those again can be exported to an Esri or a GIS platform, so they can use that to plan their operations and maintenance. And it's we've got a list of about 38 different assets that we can extract from that LiDAR for a city.
And is that extraction done like with some sort of AI application or something?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So nine of the assets are all extracted completely automated with no human intervention whatsoever. We obviously will QA them to make sure that we're not, saying a tree is an electrical pole or vice versa. And then all the other assets that require some, like a paint line, whether it's a left turn, a right turn, that sort of thing. Those are semi-automated where there is a human that has to intervene to make sure that we've got the accurate data.
Gotcha. So all the collection, is Infold doing that collection, or do you contract that out?
A combination of both.
Okay.
In the beginning, we were contracting it all out, using third parties to collect that LiDAR data for us. We've since, getting ready to acquire our own systems, where we will start doing that ourselves because we're starting to see more demand, and it's not just now for cities and utilities, but tree management is a big thing, vegetation management. So we're starting to see that there's a large demand for just data collection in general. And we're working with some of the islands in the Pacific as well. So it's quite a wide ranging clientele that are looking for this.
Yeah.
And from the city standpoint, are they going to you guys to do everything from beginning to end? From data collection all the way to give me the platform.
Yeah, it's a full soup to nuts offering. From we'll sit with the city, we'll get a shapefile generated of the roads that they want collected. We'll collect all the data, process it, upload it into the platform, and then go through all the asset extraction. And it's a subscription basis, so we will go back and we will recollect that LiDAR on an annual or biannual, depending on what the city wants, basis. Because one of the features of the platform is a change detection. So you can look at LiDAR over a couple of years and see how things have changed, which is especially useful for vegetation. As trees grow, and you want to see how has a tree grown and how does that interfere with electrical wires, and utilities find that very useful as well. But even just things, the other thing we can do is one of the automatic extractions we do is cracks in the pavement. So we can do a pavement condition analysis.
Oh, nice.
And then they can see how a road is degrading over time by comparing those two LiDARs and say, okay, this road was, we rate the cracks with a red, yellow, green as to, you better get out there. But, so they can see if something's yellow in 2025 and then they go back in 2026 and, the cracks are wider or deeper. It's like, okay, it's time to go out and do maintenance on this section of road.
So I can see how like a smaller city would really gravitate to all that. What about a larger city where the parks department is separate from the streets department, and how do they all talk to each other using one source of data? So,
for example, the city of Toronto in Canada, they are using this platform. So it's, that's the fourth largest city in North America is now.
Did the mayor have to come in and say, okay, everybody is using it and go get on the same page? How do you coordinate that?
It was done through the Public Works Department. And then depending on the city now, some cities run a little smoother than others.
Right,
where they're, they all talk to each other. But, once the data is collected, that platform can be made available to anybody. We don't restrict on who can use it within a city. So we offer unlimited user logins to that city. Where there's upsell for us is, the number of assets that you want extracted. If you want just, 4, or if you want 30 or 25, that will change the pricing. But what we have found with cities that have deployed this is some of them have told us that they are saving upwards of 80% on their field visit costs.
Sure, yeah.
Because now somebody can sit at their desk and perform measurements and check the status of an asset without having to jump in a truck with a clipboard and a tape measure with a camera and go out into the field to measure.
Well, isn't it usually those guys that are the ones that are doing the work anyway? So if they're spending most of their time just collecting data, that means they're not doing, the actual repairs and maintenance. Right. So it kind of it basically concentrates that field time to actual production, right?
Yeah. And what we're working on that will be ready second half of this year is rather than having to do a big bang sort of collection, once we've done that first one, we have a mobile tool, a field service tool that the field service workers have that they will be able to go into the field, and as they perform maintenance or repairs, they'll through the iPhone, it's got LiDAR built into it. So through that iPhone, they'll be able to update the digital twin directly from the field with a repair and the status of the repair, so that data is always current.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that's cool. Like the guys in the field being able to just patch in and just say, okay, and then yeah, cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, you mentioned like all the different extraction abilities that you have on the platform. So those extractions, do they have to be done by Infold, or can they be done by, the municipality?
Well, I mean, it's not doing those extractions is not a straightforward thing. So we have a team of 100 people that have been that do this for a living, and so they can't do it. We do make the LiDAR available to whoever the city or utility that has contracted us.
Yeah.
So it's unlike some companies, when we collect LiDAR for you, it's your data. We give you that data, and you can do whatever you want with it.
I mean, most of them can't do anything with it because it's a point cloud.
Yeah, exactly. But
what about construction? Like if let's say that the city is doing an improvement to an intersection or an area, can that city then grab that LiDAR data and give it to the contractor and let them build their model off of it from there too?
Yes, that's exactly what we do.
And that's a big savings too, because you just wiped out that part of the scope, which is always an issue anyway, whether it's existing survey data or whatever.
Yeah, because cities can now use this data once we've collected and have it. So a lot of contractors that are going to respond to an RFP, they don't necessarily have to send people out and take all sorts of detailed measurements and everything. They get access to that point cloud, and they can do everything remotely when they're doing an RFP response and things like that.
So interesting. So you mentioned municipalities being clients and large utility companies. What are some other examples of clients that would benefit from this platform?
Well, with utilities, there's electrical, gas, and water.
But we're talking about large projects, right? Is there an application for smaller projects as well?
Yeah, I mean, some of the smaller things we talked to are like campuses, large campuses.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Large campuses that they can use, especially for maintenance, and some of the campuses that we've worked with are looking to do like an autonomous shuttle vehicle, something. So the other thing we do with that same data for autonomous driving is we can take the road data and we can create Lanelet 2 or OpenDrive files for it, and use that to provide an autonomous vehicle with an input, because Lanelet 2 is a very popular format for autonomous vehicles. And another thing we're doing is we're working with Federal Department of Transportation. There's a lot of work going on right now for V2X, vehicle to infrastructure communication for autonomy and ADAS technologies. So the LiDAR we collect, what they need is at a given intersection, they need to know all the possible routes or paths that a vehicle can take through an intersection. So it's a right turn, left turn, how many lanes are in the intersection, where the crosswalks are, where the traffic lights are, and all that sort of information. So we take that same LiDAR and we create, a Lanelet or OpenDrive or USD format, whatever they're using, and hand that to right now it's state DOTs. We're working with Maricopa County is a prime one we're working with. And they're using that information that we've collected from the LiDAR to test V2X communication. So they can tell a vehicle that's equipped with these radios and sensors that as you're approaching the intersection, I'm about to turn from green to yellow in 10 seconds, so slow down so you don't have to stop at a red for as long.
Yeah.
Or if there's a pedestrian in the intersection and a car is approaching, it'll say, stop.
Yeah. It's those where it gets in that no man's land where
and it'll tell a vehicle, okay, the lane you're in, the only direction you can go is straight. You're not allowed to turn right or left, or you're only allowed to turn left. So all of that is a huge research effort undergoing right now. It's Phoenix is doing it, Salt Lake City's doing it, University of Texas A&M, University of Virginia. There's several points in the country that a lot of this research is going on, and the technology will be deployed in the first commercial vehicle in the model year 29.
Oh, wow.
So this is fast approaching.
Yeah.
To get
Yeah, no
this
kidding.
testing. Because,
Yeah.
you've got this, and what they'll do is there'll be two forms that this will take. It'll either be built into the traffic light, the red, yellow, green light as an edge processing thing, or it'll just be another box that's, bolted to a pole in an intersection. And eventually this is going to go not just in intersections, but it'll be throughout all the roadways, telling, controlling vehicles as autonomy gets more widely deployed.
Right. Well, you mentioned Maricopa County and Phoenix, which is where we're from, of course. And, we've got Waymo there.
Right.
So, there's got to be some sort of tie-in to that as well, right?
So Waymo right now, and all of the robot taxis, they don't depend on any interaction with the infrastructure. They have their own sensors on the vehicle. That's why you see all the LiDAR spinning on the Waymo.
Right.
And they just try and determine where they are
Based on itself.
Based on itself and what it sees. But see, that doesn't help it when it comes to an intersection. If it's going to know whether it's going to turn red or light, or it's their sensors that can look for a pedestrian, but they haven't always been successful, and we've seen examples of that.
Sure.
But and that way, if the federal government's going to deploy this technology, it's going to have to be pretty rock solid.
And is the idea to use that in conjunction with an autonomous vehicle that has its own sensors and it approaches an intersection, and it can piggyback up,
Yeah. No, once this the Vito X is deployed, it will talk to all commercial vehicles as they integrate those receivers into the vehicle and that control. This is all part of the ADAS, Advanced Driver Assistance Technology. Is what that Vito X stuff is all about.
That's so cool.
I know, right?
and so you're using the same LiDAR data for all of these different purposes. So it's the utility of the data is just so incredible.
Yeah. Well, it's like a 4-dimensional GIS.
Yes.
Is that why is that why you guys call it a 4D digital twin?
It's exactly why the 4D
time.
Is time.
Yeah.
Because we recollect at different times, and you can do that change comparison, that change detection over time from different LiDAR scans. When our CEO first coined the term 4D, the first thing I thought of, I don't even remember the 80s movies, Buckaroo Banzai in the fourth dimension.
Yeah.
That's I just said to Walter. So, have you ever seen this movie, Walter?
Yeah.
But no, it's time. It's not it's not whatever those creatures were in.
Right. So what do you see or foresee is going to be the limiting factor here? Let's say those boxes are deployed not just at intersections but everywhere, and so then it's going to be how frequent the LiDAR data collection is happening. Eventually, if the hardware is everywhere, then it's the availability of the data, right, or the freshness of it.
Yeah. So I think longer term, and this comes from my previous life when I worked for a company that developed HD maps for autonomous vehicles. Where it's going to go longer term is crowdsourced.
Crowdsourced data.
So as you get more vehicles on the road with these types of sensors, there's going to be a crowdsourced reporting of there's construction here or there's an accident here. So it'll eventually get to real-time crowdsourcing. And as all of the vehicles in the infrastructure are talking to each other, everybody's going to know everything about what's going on in the road.
Right.
So it'll help alleviate a lot of traffic jams because cars will automatically start to speed up, slow down, and you won't have all of those sudden stops. There'll be a smoother flow, or if a road gets over capacity, it will start directing vehicles to take another route, and they will just do it to stop a certain road segment from getting over capacity and things like that. So I think all of that will be here, by the mid-30s probably. A lot of that's going to be real.
Well, if the sensors can be on your iPhone, then they're going to be on the commercial vehicles for one reason or another. And then once it's there, then you can start using it.
Right. And if the first vehicles hit commercial production in 29, so that's actually calendar year 28. it's once it starts to hit the street, it'll start in the high-end vehicles, but pretty rapidly move its way down. We've just seen that with General Motors, the way they first brought out Super Cruise and Cadillacs, but now you can find flavors of Super Cruise down into like the Chevy Bolt.
Right.
So
I got to ask, the next logical step then is, if all the LiDAR data is going to be collected by every commercial vehicle, what's the point in hiring somebody to go out and get mobile with LiDAR? Like, if it's going to be there readily available, are you going to need separate commercial providers?
Well, where's that LiDAR going to reside?
Yeah.
I mean,
somebody's got to get it and own it and
who's going to
disseminate
manage
it.
that data? Who's going to merge all that data coming from disparate sources? I don't see the federal government managing a great big data lake in the sky.
And I don't think anyone wants them to either,
exactly.
right?
So there's going to be, the need for private industry to manage this. But the application of that data, maybe eventually there won't be as much need for LiDAR collection, but the processing of that LiDAR,
that's got to go.
Somebody's going to have to do that, and that won't be the federal government doing that.
Because you're just by orders of magnitude increasing how much is out there, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, think of the petabytes of data that will eventually be there.
Right.
Just think for intersections alone. Think of how many intersections there are in the United States. For instance, in Maricopa County, there's over 800 intersections that they want to deploy this to.
Wow.
That's a lot of intersections in one city.
Yeah.
And how many cities in the country and towns and everything else. There's, I think, it's like thousands. A couple 100,000 intersections. Throughout the country.
Yeah.
So it's it's going to take time. It's going to take time.
Right.
But
How do you I envision there being challenges with cities not having this in their budget, right? And how do you overcome that? Because I'm sure it's got to be a significant cost for a city to implement this.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's not as much as you would think. We try and keep it priced pretty aggressively. That's why we offer unlimited logins. So we base the cost on the amount of storage, the amount of data that needs to be stored. So the number of miles in a city is directly influences the cost of the deployment. But you're right. Some cities we go to, we love it. We just don't have budget this year. But what we've done is we'll go collect a square mile in the city center and just give that to a city and say, play with it, see what you think, and that gives them the tool they need to go get budget for the following year, and then they will get the budget.
Perfect.
Well, and it's essentially reallocated, right? I mean, it's all of those scopes live in other areas, and you're just centralizing the data. So, I don't see it as a huge cost increase. You just got to convince somebody that it makes sense.
And when you can show it as a cost savings, because now they don't have to make as many field trips. Now, because you'd be surprised, most cities have no idea how many fire hydrants they have, or manhole covers, or where they are. So
much less what condition they're in.
And so they need to know that. And as we get to some of our more crowdsourced and real-time updating, we can work with the city, and if they want to know the condition of their bus stops on a daily basis, we're close to the point with some of the imagery work we're doing. We can put a camera in every bus, and as the bus drives its route during the day,
exactly.
At the end of the day, when the bus comes back to the depot, the condition of every bus stop on that guy's route is updated in the digital twin. So now the next morning, the maintenance group will come in and say, we better get out to these bus stops and clean them up or fix them or whatever. So it's just, it's sort of endless what you can do with this data as we collect more of it.
Yeah, and it's all geo-referenced, obviously,
all
right?
geo-referenced within, centimeter accuracy.
Yeah.
And so, we use survey grade LiDAR for everything.
Yeah.
And so, so it's it's pretty useful.
I think you're onto something, Craig.
I got the same feeling. I like it.
And by the way, thank you for being a friend of the program, of the show. We appreciate your support.
Oh,
I forgot
yeah.
to mention that when we introduced you. So,
A new friend of the program.
new friend of the program. Yeah. You got anything else? Like I
No.
could talk for another
No,
hour.
I know. Yeah, we could. We're gonna make
get
it.
him on for a
We'll have
full-
a whole full episode.
course.
So
Yeah.
we'll dive in more. But for now, I definitely appreciate you coming by.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. No, this is a good show and lots of fun stuff to see. And
For sure.
great to meet you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you as well.
yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
Yeah, enjoy
Appreciate
the
it.
rest of the day.
All right, thanks.
All right.
Let's do it again.
Let's get on with it.
I love it.
Yeah. I'm feeling good. Finally starting to wake up, I think. Let's real quick self-introductions, you guys, if you would. Why don't you go first? Just name who you're with, what you do.
Sure. My name is Mario. I work for the city of Virginia Beach, and I am a survey technician.
Survey technician. There you go.
Yeah, I'm Chad Maxwell. I work for HDR, and I'm the senior Geomatics manager there.
Okay. So, Chad, how long have you been at HDR?
Oh man, about 5.5 years now.
5.5 years.
Yeah. Six in July, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're in Florida, right?
Virginia.
Or Virginia.
Virginia Beach.
Sorry, Virginia.
I take classes online at the University of Florida.
Okay. I thought there was.
go Gators.
That's right.
Yeah, that's it.
What are you taking classes for?
So I'm an undergrad in geography, but I'm also in their geomatics and geospatial analysis certificate programs.
Can you talk a little bit about that certificate program?
Sure. So they're both. So it's two different certificates. They're both great programs, and there's actually a lot of overlap. The reason I got started in the geomatics certificate was I was progressing rather quickly, probably almost to a detriment within our survey bureau, and I was like, I need some foundation data, some knowledge. So luckily, I was already attending University of Florida for geography, and so I saw they had the geomatics certificate, reached out to some of their staff, and it was actually quite difficult because I'm not in Florida, and I'm already a undergrad student, which typically most of their geomatics students online are just taking it so that they can get the required credits to take the test in Florida for licensure.
Yeah.
So it was interesting to kind of navigate and get in touch with the correct people, but I finally got allowed to take it, and the staff, I mean, they're incredible. And I've even got to meet some of the professors here, a bunch of other students here as well.
It's awesome.
Got to meet here as well.
Do you have a favorite? Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know if I want to say.
You got to go with Dr. Ben. That's the right answer.
Dr. Ben, that's right.
That's great. So how do you guys know each other?
Actually, we just met in person, actually. So we kind of exchanged, back and forth a few times. LinkedIn, actually, maybe in response to the Geoholics podcast.
That's right.
That we did a while ago.
Yep.
And so, we just kind of pinged back and forth and had the opportunity just yesterday to meet. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well,
Very cool.
like you mentioned earlier, we were talking. He was doing a presentation with Will, and I was telling Will, I was like, one day we're going to see his name in the record books for something crazy within the geospatial space.
Yeah, right.
Because you're like above the rest of us. I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't know if you could tell. So Mario put this to the question like after the presentation. So Will and I and Dustin were sitting on the stage yesterday, and Mario just sort of tongue in cheek asked a question. I was a little embarrassed. I couldn't tell. I didn't know if that came off or anybody. But like my first thought that came to my mind was like, Will just gave his presentation on Tombstone where he brought like 25 or 30 students like to that, and he's doing this like year over year. Will's doing so much more than almost anybody else in this program, like to drag people into it.
Yeah.
And so like I if I play a small part of that, I'm happy. But it takes a village.
It takes a village, no question. So let's talk about the show. What have you guys seen so far that's kind of raised an eyebrow? Different from years past, anyways.
I think for me, a lot.
Or heard.
Okay, gotcha. So for me, I've always come to this with kind of an agenda, and it's to either create new connections or learn something technically specifically, especially as we got into like the 3D scanning space. I think you probably remember last year I was all nerding out, had a bunch of notes. I was like, I need to ask these questions, and and so I was trying to talk to a lot of people about feature extraction just kind of like their workflows. But what I found this year is that there's a lot of, I think maybe that's why I asked the question I asked you yesterday about, a lot of the why of what we do is that I feel like we're at a tipping point within the industry where we're kind of moving into the future, if you will, but it's almost right now. And so what I've also seen is that a lot of the time there's still a lot of collaboration between humans that need to exist. And I think that's probably where Will comes in, because he's really good at that, especially at bringing in, younger professionals or students as well. So I feel like we're at a weird kind of juxtaposition between all this awesome technology, but we still need a lot of that human connection in order to make that work.
Yeah. No, well said, for sure. How about you, Chad?
Yeah, so I'm shocked. So a few things, like everybody's doing the AI feature extraction stuff now.
Right. Which by the way, a year ago was like a new thing,
right.
And now it's like,
old
it's just a normal,
right?
it's just a normal feature.
Yeah. So that's like got my mind a little messed up, right? Like that's old now.
Right.
But I think that the thing for me, so man, there's a few things where we talked on the show, and I talked a little bit yesterday in my presentation about how we're integrating and sort of synthesizing things into a common focal point, right? And so used to, we had to do that with a bunch of, like, we brought this tool and that tool, and we had 1,000 tools, and you had to carry it, and you couldn't, you had a trailer and like these monster trailers, and I haven't seen any of those here with like the command center trailers, you know what I'm saying? But like now, so you look at the Tersus and the Immenset, and like all of them, like they just released I
know what you're going to say.
A
I just saw it.
GPS unit that's got 4 cameras on it. It's doing terrestrial frame photogrammetry and the laser scanner and SLAM all at the same time on a rover pole. It's just a wild, I can't.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I can't figure out, like, so just think about that in terms of data volume, right? Like, so you used to send a surveyor out, or I used to go out, with the RTK basin rover, and I used to point, and I might get, a couple hundred, 300-400 points a day kind of thing, and we thought, sort of coding out feature codes and like, building the line, all that was like now. So, we're talking about maybe megabytes of data if you're snapping pictures and things too. Like that thing, you take 1 point, like, oh my God, you've like maybe 100,000x on like the data volume. It's like, man, that's pretty wild. I can't quite get my head around that one yet, but it looks super interesting.
Right.
I mean, it seems like a multi-tool. Like I was thinking, like total station's going to have to be, that's like, a total, those things are more complete than maybe a total station.
For sure.
Is right now.
No question. Yeah, that could potentially be a game changer for sure. Talk about AI just a little bit. Like it's all, I mean, you mentioned AI playing a major role in like extraction, that type thing, but it's never going to replace like the human decision-making process, I don't think. Maybe to a point, but what do you guys think about that?
You want to tackle first, or?
Yeah, I mean, so I really like some of the AI tools. So I mean, Mach 9 seems like they're doing neat stuff in that space. Trimble Business Center's baking a lot of that stuff in now. Like used to be just tunnels and rails, and then you have the TopoDoc guys, which like they've been doing stuff with LiDAR point clouds for mobile for a long time. And I think the it adds a lot of value there. I think I read a paper somewhere along the way, and it was talking about automated classification of LiDAR data. And the paper suggested that somewhere around 60 to 65% was what the computer was accurate at doing it, and then the last 35 to 40% was you needed human oversight, right? I think
that sounds like a lot.
It does. But when you're talking about LiDAR data and you're talking about sorting them, maybe that's not as much as it, like, because it tends to clump. Right?
Oh,
It's homogenize in different land covers or whatever. I think the AI is probably it's not 100%, right? It's probably not 90%. so, but it gets you most of the way there. So I think human involvement's going to be, oversight. Did this thing work right? Kind of QA, QC kinds of things. But I think the real value there that AI will never replace is like, what does this mean? And so that's a question that I think about a lot in terms of our profession. And so we kind of talked about that yesterday in the presentation. Just like, why are we doing these things? Like, why go through the trouble of trying to integrate all these technologies? Why go through the approval gauntlets and all the things that we have to do, like, on a day-to-day basis. And it's because simply, like, the most simple way that I can put it is, it's because the more information you bring to the point of attack, the better decisions you're going to get out of it, right? The better allocation of resources, the better use of scarce time, like all of those things. So the more data and the more information you can draw out of that data, the better. And so if AI helps in that, I think that's a great thing. I think it's going to be a human decision maker down the value chain.
There's a judgment component, right? That I don't think AI will ever replace.
I'd be careful with absolutes. That's the one thing I've learned.
Well, and there's intelligibilities, right?
Yeah.
So like, I don't think I'm not a huge fan of the wisdom of crowds, right? But I think there's a lot of decentralized knowledge in the human species. So like I talk about spatial intelligibility a lot, right? Well, intelligibility sort of is predicated on what are the user's hyperpriors? And what I mean by that is, like, what is your knowledge base? So your knowledge base is a lot different than my knowledge base because we went to probably different schools. We had different experiences, like in the profession and growing up. And so we see the world we see a lot that's the same, but a lot that's probably different. And so that, you think about the value chain of the work that we're doing in survey. So like we're on and I talk about like this a lot. Survey is part of a compilation of knowledge, right? Building out a knowledge base, and we're at the ground floor of that, I think, right? Because we're the guys that go and see, and so we go and see, and we make observations, and we interrogate, and we record all that, and then we bring it back. And so the way that I view that, right? I'm looking at it from an exploratory sort of, how can I characterize this or that? But an engineer who's downstream of me and my work picks it up and says, well, my engineering brain needs to build something right here. And so he looks at it with his hyperpriors and the things that he's trying to do, his vision, his forecast, everything that he's trying to do. And he's going to see different things in that data than I see and care about. And same thing on down the line. When we talked about historical preservation, we talked about lots of things yesterday. And so like the intelligibilities are different. I don't believe AI can replicate that. And I don't think it's a wisdom of crowds thing to circle it all the way back. But there's lots of intelligibilities that I don't think can be synthesized into, one unit or one set of algorithms or whatever the case is.
Sure. No, that's good stuff. So now Mario's got to follow that.
Oh, goodness. I probably know far less about AI than you do. But
role is kind of playing in your daily life and where you kind of see that going.
So as far as like, we'll talk about the feature extraction again. Yesterday, you mentioned TopoDot. I was wearing my TopoDot socks just to kind of shout that out to them. I kind of wish we were using TopoDot or, a Mach 9. I actually spoke to Mach 9 yesterday. So I think they're probably headed in the right direction as far as feature extraction goes. But last year when I was asking a ton of questions to just everyone in industry, hey, what's your workflow as far as feature extraction? It was probably 50-50. Some people were like, yeah, we're using TopoDot or we're using Trimble Business Center. And all the other people were saying, now we're just doing it manually. Like, if you can do it manually, just do it manually. It's, it's cheaper. Or maybe if you're doing, small portions, which at the city of Virginia Beach, we're doing just, small.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah. If you're doing large corridors, and TopoDot, that's kind of the way to go.
But for an intersection,
yep. Which that's exactly what we're doing. Intersections, small things like that.
So I don't think you need to go with the automated feature extraction for the 3 stop signs on that intersection.
Exactly. But I don't know. AI to me, it's kind of exciting, but also kind of terrifying. Just kind of a quick funny story. We did a scan of we got a new hydrographic survey boat. And so we did a 3D scan of it just to get all the offsets for GPS. And so just because we could, I was like, I'm going to 3D print this. So I did it. I 3D printed it, and we were having a Christmas party, and my boss's boss saw it, and he was like, hey, man, that's pretty cool. He was like, you guys just need to throw a side scan or a multi-beam sonar on that, and you guys got yourself a USV. I was like, all right. So that kind of put just a little, seed in my head. I was like, you know what? I'm going to see if I can build myself a little hydrographic boat. And so I did. I spent all of $50. I bought, cheap, circuit boards, Arduino boards, and a little sonar cost me all of $20 for a pair of two. And I finally finished it literally the day before I flew out here. I haven't done any hard checks yet to see how accurate it is. But as far as where AI comes in, I know very little about code. I've taken a coding class in high school and then one in college. And so I know just enough to kind of get in trouble and get things wrong. But I had to rely heavily on AI to kind of fix things I could identify. I'm like, all right, I know this is not correct, but I don't know how to fix it. So I did rely heavily on ChatGPT or Gemini, different tools. And I finally got it to work. So, which is kind of scary, especially if you're a coder. So everything's kind of, a double-edged sword.
Yeah, there's a lot of value in that. And hey, help me fix this section of code, or even some syntax error. Help me fix it.
How close is the city of Virginia Beach to go into a full digital twin LiDAR mapped city?
I don't want to speak to that because they're probably not very close.
There's opportunity.
That means there's a lot of opportunity, right?
That's right.
Yeah. I think we're going to need an update on the RC sonar boat.
Yeah, the boat.
That's right. That's right.
I'm interested. Well, see, I mean, we're looking at a few here, out this way, but that seems like a space that's maybe there's so much in the drone space right now in the air, but not as much on the near shore water environment.
Well, it's funny you mentioned. I guess speaking more to AI, so it seems like maybe a year or two ago, a buzzword was Gaussian splatting.
Oh yeah.
Now it's no longer a buzzword. It's like, hey, you need to be doing Gaussian splatting. Yeah. But so I use just like an app on my phone. I use Scaniverse, and you create little quick, Gaussian splats. And so I did. I created a Gaussian splat of the little RC boat that I made, and I showed it to all my friends. I'm like, oh, it's kind of neat. Yeah. But yeah, I mean that has just exploded exponentially. I mean, when you think about where Gaussian splatting was 2 years ago compared to what it is now, where people were saying you'll never be able to measure off of this, and now people are making measurements. Maybe not to what we call survey accuracy, but people are making measurements off of it, and it's crazy.
Yeah. So you work in the public sector, obviously. You're in the private side. I'm curious, in both your situations, when it comes to implementing a piece of new technology or software, like how do your individual businesses or employers measure return on investment?
So my boss, our city surveyor, which he was actually here with me last year, he wasn't able to attend this year. He's actually getting ready to retire within the next 3 years or so. That said, he has been, very open with me. He's like, hey, if you see a piece of technology that you think is valuable in what we do, get the information, speak to me about it. And, that's how we're able to be here. This is not something that we had been doing previous to me joining the city of Virginia Beach. And so he does see a lot of value in where the future of surveying is moving. So he is very open to the technology, and, while himself, he's still, very much an old school surveyor. He's doing boundary work, and, that's what he enjoys, a lot of the math and legal parts of it. The difficult part is the rest of the city, working with purchasing and getting approved. We've been trying to get a drone for about 3 years now, and it's just a difficult task when you're working with taxpayer dollars. So that's been the hardest part.
Is the one that you have put forward for your capital purchase request, is that already outdated?
So it's funny you mentioned that. So when he first asked me about 2 years ago, I gave him a bunch of different drones, and not to get political, I guess, but with just the geopolitical state right now with technology, most recently for this coming fiscal year, I submitted another quote because he asked, hey, we have the momentum to get a drone this fiscal year. I submitted a drone to him, and it's an American-made drone, and it actually finally got approved. Like, all right, you guys are 99% going to get this drone. But then with everything that happened December 23rd, and a lot of the DOTs are coming out and saying, hey, we don't want local municipalities who have DOT work because we have federal work. We don't want you working with, different drones without naming specifically. But so they essentially said, we're going to halt all purchases until we have a complete audit of everything that we have. So we'll probably have to wait another fiscal year.
Wow. The red tape.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, so the requisition red tape is pretty well the same on my side. The shortcut, though, what I'll say on at HDR is if there's a project and you can express the need for the tool to make the project successful, that shortcuts you. And so we can be a little more HDR to their credit, very very conservative on capital outlays, which is a good thing. I mean, it's been great. As an employee owner of the company, the returns have been excellent. So, no issues on that particular policy. But sometimes it is difficult to kind of lean into what's new and next unless you have a direct project tied to it.
Right.
And we share we have some things where we can cost recover across different business groups in the company, and so we have sort of an internal rental pool, and so we're sort of building systems to make the cases for capital expenditure a little bit better, especially for these kinds of tools. So.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Before we let you guys get out of here, I'm really curious to hear your perspective on this because, I consider you both, younger surveyors for sure. You're both in a position to come to shows like this and stay abreast of the latest technology and what's happening. Like what skill set, or maybe even a unique skill set, do you guys think, even surveyors younger than you, just getting into the profession, should possess to set themselves up for success?
I would say probably soft skills are probably a little bit more important right now, just because, and COVID probably expedited this, but I think 5 years ago, there wasn't as much information out there just to learn. I mean, you think about people like Rami and, how he got started, just putting information out there as far as learning. So there's a lot of skills that can be learned as far as hard skills go. I think if you remain curious, I don't think you necessarily need to be like the most go-getter type personality, but if you're willing to work hard, and kind of, show that to your employers and stay curious, I think that will probably be at least the beginning and the kind of point to set you on a good trajectory in this field.
Yeah, I
curious. I like that.
Yeah, curiosity is a big one for me. I mean, because like that's curiosity is underpinned by hunger, right? So if you want to learn something, you will. And so I agree. Yeah, 100% on that one. I would also add to it. I would hope that people that are going through the sort of survey funnel understand why they're doing that. I mean, that's a big thing for me. Like you talked about Rami in the survey school, and Robert's got stuff on YouTube, and you've got Geoholics podcast to listen to get industry perspectives and things. So there's a lot of you can figure out what to do and how to do it, but if you know why to do it, you can, for me, you can start to command the kind of attention and salary and compensation for your work that it deserves.
Right.
And so, having a handle on the why you're doing this and how it supports the value chain is a big deal.
Yeah. Good self-awareness, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
What else you got, buddy?
Oh, that's it.
You're quiet.
I know. Well, I mean, when people are talking good stuff, I don't have to say anything.
For sure, right? They make you look smart.
I don't need my
I don't know.
perspective.
Yeah.
Well, what have you guys been up to recently?
Oh, geez.
Oh, we don't answer questions.
Yeah. Don't try to turn this around on us, Mario.
Well, no, I think it's a good question. So Mario's good at putting people on the spot here.
He does it every time we talk to him.
But it is.
I get anxiety every time he sits in that chair.
What? Can't answer that.
What are we not to? Podcast wise, planning for the year. We got a huge year.
Huge year.
Tons of shows come. Like from this point on, it's like once a month we're traveling. So we're very fortunate to be going back to InterGeo again this year.
Yep.
So that'll be amazing. And then one of our new sponsors, 12D Synergy. They're based out of Brisbane, and they're going to have us come to their biannual
tech conference.
Yep.
Yeah.
Be the keynote speaker there. So looking forward to that as well. And just producing good content. Meeting amazing people, that's why we do this. We're so fortunate.
Yeah.
So
we appreciate it.
When you're not behind the mic at a show like this, what do you go for? What catches your attention?
A chair.
A what?
A quiet chair.
A recliner.
A dark room.
Yeah,
somewhere.
dark room.
A golf course once in a while.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Well, no, like we're actually still looking for. I don't know what the buzzword, the buzz phrase, the buzz thing is going to be from this show, or that it hasn't jumped out. Usually, it has by now, but we'll see what it is. Every year, there's something. Like you said, Gaussian splats was last year, the year before. I mean, there was a point where digital twins was the word and the thing that everyone was talking about. Now it's just kind of one of those.
Just go with spatial intelligibility.
Yeah,
spatial intelligibility.
I like that. Maybe we should coin that. No, I'm sure it's already a thing.
Yeah, it's already a thing. Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know, man. That's about it. Really, I appreciate your guys' time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Always good to see you.
The thing that makes me really happy about this conversation, by the way, is the future of the profession is in good hands.
I would highly agree with that.
Like
yes.
We just need more.
Yeah,
we need
exactly.
More. So Mario's got to get a license, and
that's right.
We got to have Will keep dragging people into this.
That's
thing.
right.
Oh yeah, he'll keep doing that. That's for sure.
Well, enjoy the rest of the day, guys. Appreciate everything.
Appreciate it.